On November 6, 1944, Franklin Delano Roosevelt addressed the nation on election eve. He made a memorable prayer. Let us go back to that November 6th for the prayer to gain greater inspiration for the task of fulfilling the ideals it expressed so admirably and characteristically. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Ingrid Bergman.
Almighty God, whose righteousness will all things are and were created. Thou hast gathered our people out of many lands and races into a great nation. We commend to thy overruling providence the men and women of our forces by sea, by land, and in the air, beseeching thee to take into thine own hands both them and the cause they serve. Be thou their strength when they are set in the midst of so many and great dangers, and grant that whether by life or by death, they may win for the whole world the fruits of their sacrifice and a just peace. Guide, we beseech thee, the nations of the world into the way of justice and truth, and establish among them that peace which is the reward of righteousness. Make the whole people of this land equal to our high trust, reverent in the use of freedom, just in the exercise of power, generous in the protection of weakness. Enable us to guard for the least among us the freedom we covet for ourselves. Make us ill content with the inequalities of opportunity which still prevail among us. Preserve our union against all our divisions of race and class which threaten it. And now may the blessing of God Almighty rest upon this whole land. May he give us light to guide us, courage to support us, charity to unite us, now and forevermore. Amen.
Well, now it's a real thrill to bring to your command performance microphone one of the loveliest and most talented stars in Hollywood, the winner of this year's Academy Award for her grand performance in Gaslight, Ingrid Bergman.
Thank you, Bob.
Yes, sir, the star of Gaslight. Anybody want to play Gas Man?
Oh, Bob, I'm glad you're here tonight.
You are, really?
Yes. There's something about you that makes me gay, that makes me glad, that makes me very happy.
Something about you that makes me, too. Oh, you know. You know, yeah. That's awful. I gotta get a room. You know, Ingrid, there's something that puzzles me. You come from way up north, and yet you have such a warm nature.
Oh, you know that old saying, the colder the place, the warmer the girl.
Yeah, drop over sometime. We'll spend the evening in my refrigerator.
Didn't I see you someplace lately?
You did? Oh, of course. You saw me over the Academy Award affair. Don't you remember?
Oh, yes.
I've been there 6 years in a row now.
6 years. By now you must have regular costume at that popcorn stand.
Well, it's easy for me. I just heat up my old scripts. But besides, I have to do something while I give those Oscars to everyone else.
I don't like to say this, Bob, but when you didn't get one, you weren't very sporting about it.
Well, I just lost my head, that's all.
Well, but wrestling for it with another performer.
And I'd have had it, too, but that Margaret O'Brien's awfully strong for age.
Margaret O'Brien, it's just a tiny little thing. In fact, she's so small, nobody there could even see her.
Well, that's because she was sitting on the other side of Crosby's stomach.
I'll tell you something funny. I didn't even see Bing.
Why not?
He was on the other side of yours.
But leaving Fringehead for a moment, are you Leaving Fringehead for a moment. Are you working on a picture now, Ingrid?
No. But I'm going to start one just as soon as I find the right leading man.
Oh, you're looking for a leading man?
Mm-hmm, yes, one who's dashing and debonair.
Gee, that's right down my alley.
Someone who's young and romantic.
That's right down my alley.
Oh, he'll have to be someone I can trust in the love scenes.
Set him up in the other alley.
Oh, well, Bob, I was thinking of someone a little more sophisticated than you, a different type of man. Remember those love scenes I did with Charles Boyer in Gaslight?
Charlie, old breathe heavy. If you want to see real romance, I wish you'd drop over to my house and do a love scene from Gaslight.
Why?
No gas, no light.
Oh, Bob, I hope you won't be angry, but you're not sophisticated enough.
I'm not, huh?
No. The real man of the world has a look about him that suggests champagne and caviar.
What about me?
One meatball.
So that's how it is, huh?
Yes. I'm afraid so, Bob. You're not the drawing room type. I don't want to hurt you.
Oh, that's all right.
But
That's all
then
right.
I'll see you later.
So long. Not the drawing room type. I see. Not the drawing room type, huh? I know how to conduct myself in society. I wouldn't dream of throwing a used tea bag under the table. Not me. I always take them home, dry them out, and make cigarettes. But Ingrid's right. Maybe I could use some advice.
What's the matter, Bob? Didn't things go so well with Ingrid?
No, Ken, they didn't. But if she wants a sophisticated man, that's what I'm going to be.
But with Charles Boyer coming over to see Ingrid Bergman, it looks like you'll never get to be her leading man.
Well, I'm not through yet, Ken. I got a little idea that'll make her change her mind.
What do you mean, Bob?
That must be him. Just watch, Ken. Come in.
Good evening. My name is Charles Boyer.
Well, how are you, Charlie, old boy? It's good to see an old pal again. How you been, old pal?
Fine. What did you say your name was?
Charlie, surely you must recognize me.
Oh, yes. Bob Hope.
Sure, I live right next door to you in the valley. You know me. I make pictures.
I know. Every day I have to scrub them off my sidewalk.
After I spent 3 hours on Betty Grable's knees. Say, Charles, you know very well that I work in the picture studios.
What do you do?
What do? I just happen to be the greatest lover in Hollywood.
Oh, how fortunate for Glendale.
Charles, I'm sorry you don't think much of me as a romantic leading man.
Well, if you forgive me, Bob, I would say that you lack a few of the requirements. For one thing, a leading man must have regular features.
Well, I've got regular features.
No, but the way you conduct yourself. You whistle at girls.
Well, that's one of my regular features, too.
Excuse me, Bob, but ever since we started talking, I've been curious about that perfume you're wearing.
Oh, that's a little something I dab behind my ears to attract girls.
Really? What is it?
Well, I don't like to give away my secrets, but it's got Wirium in it. That's for the younger soldiers and sailors and boys.
Well, I would like very much to continue this conversation with you, Bob, but the purpose of my visit was to see Miss Ingrid Bergman about being in our next picture.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, Charles. It's a good thing you saw me before you saw her.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm a good friend of yours, and I'll give you a tip to help you land the part.
What is it?
Well, Ingrid told me confidentially that she was getting pretty sick of that continental stuff.
Continental stuff?
Yeah, you know, coming to the Cares ball. Coming to the Cares ball. You can't get that many people into a Sunset bus.
Well, I'm deeply concerned. Miss Bergman told you she doesn't like me?
No, she's still willing to consider you, but this picture calls for a different type of role, and I can help you.
Oh, it's very nice of you to do this for me, Bob.
Oh, I'm very happy to do you. I mean, what she wants now is a guy who can play the part of a Westerner, a cowboy.
A cowboy? But I have no experience about the West. I don't even know how to milk a Mustang.
don't ever try. But don't worry about a thing, Charlie. I wrote a little sketch that will prove to her that you can be a real Westerner.
Oh, thank you, Bob. I'm so grateful to you.
Good. Here's your part. Why don't you go in the corner and rehearse it? Just come in when you hear your cue.
Good. I do hope I please Miss Bergman.
Now, I'd better talk to Ingrid. Oh, Ingrid!
Yes, did Charles Boyer get here yet?
Yes, he told me to give you this little play. It's a love scene for the two of you.
Oh, but where's Charles now?
Well, he's right outside. He wanted to be alone so he could get into the mood.
Oh, it must be a very tender, sentimental scene,
You'll find out. I'll set the scene, Ingrid. It's a little play called Tall in the Saddle, or I Didn't Know I Was Sitting on You, Joe. You speak first, Ingrid.
My, how brightly the stars are burning tonight. They are burning almost as fiercely as the fires in my heart. It would seem that they too know that I have a rendezvous with my love. Oh, Charles. Oh, where can he be? What can be keeping him?
Maybe you have to pass the draft board on the way home.
Oh, Charles. Just the mentioning of his name brings back so many memories. I can still hear his voice so soft and low, whispering to me.
Yippee! Yo! With me!
Well, Bub?
How am I doing?
Well, this may start a whole new series called Hop Along Boyer.
My precious, these long hours away from you have each been an eternity. But at last, my sweet, you've returned. Say those 3 words I've been longing to hear.
Burst my breeches. Yo!
Charles, after these many months, why do you act so strangely? Why do you turn away from me?
He told you he busted his britches.
Charles, you haven't even told me what kept you. You haven't been gambling again, have you? Were you at the roulette tables waking up your winnings?
Why, my hide. I've been down at the stable.
I'll bet he was raking anyway.
Raking stables! This whole thing is ridiculous. Mr. Boyer, what has come over you? Why are you reading this way?
Well, to please you. From now on, I'm an old cowhand.
You see, Ingrid, you can make your choice now. It's me in sophistication or Charles Boyer in westerns. What do you say?
Give me my boots and saddle.
There goes the finishing bell for another command performance, and this is Bob Hope saying for Ingrid Bergman, Walter Pidgeon, William Bendix, Charles Boyer, Ella Mae Morrison, the King's sister, the best of the best from the USA.
Mail call from the United States of America. Stand by, Americans. Stand by, fighting men of the United Nations. Here's Mail Call, sent your way by Special Service, Los Angeles, USA. It's one big package of words and music and laughter delivered to you by the stars from whom you want to hear. And standing at the microphone now to act as your mistress of ceremonies is the lovely young star you've enjoyed in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Casablanca, and whose performance in the current For Whom the Bell Tolls is gathering rave notices from critics and public alike. Here she is, Miss Ingrid Bergman.
Thank you, Don Wilson, and a very warm hello to all you fighting men of the United Nations in every corner of the globe. You know, when I was first asked to act as your mail call mistress of ceremonies, I was afraid that it might be a little bit out of my line. I said I was accustomed to playing a part, a character in a story, but then I realized that I would be playing a part, a very important part if I could help deliver to you this big sound letter from home. Well, men, I'm sure many of you have experienced the thrill of meeting a countryman when you're away from home. That's just how I feel now in welcoming your old friend Edgar Bergen.
Thank you, Miss Bergman, and the feeling is more than mutual. Yeah. You know, Miss Bergman, I saw you in For Whom the Bells Toll, and you gave a splendid performance as Maria. Yes.
Thank you.
But I noticed that your coiffure was, shall we say, close-cropped.
It certainly was, Charlie. I was the first actress to get a GI haircut.
Yeah. GI haircut, yeah. Why don't you stick around with us for a while and get some basic training? Oh, no, Charlie. Woo! All right. Charlie, watch it. Well, don't be so stuffy, Bergen. All right. Tell me, Ingrid, how did you like working with Gary Cooper?
Oh, I enjoyed it very much. Mr. Cooper is a fine actor.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You know, Gary and I are very much alike, you know. We're both extremely popular around the dressing rooms, you know. Yeah.
But Charlie, Gary Cooper is so tall and you're so short.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, so what? One man's transom is another man's keyhole. All right. No, that didn't. That will be enough. Now, Miss Bergman, if you'll excuse me, I've got to have a little talk with this boy.
Oh, I understand. It's all yours, Mr. Bergen. And I must confess I am in a little predicament. You see, I know what people say about Hollywood. They say we never talk about anything but pictures. And now I have this great opportunity to speak to all you fighting Americans around the world. And what do I find myself wanting to talk about? Of course, pictures. But not the kind of pictures that we make in Hollywood. I mean another kind. The kind I saw last week. One in particular was very beautiful. A winding stream, a wooded hill, a field of barley ruffled by the wind. So peaceful and so calm, I thought, until the officer who showed it to me smiled and pointed out the things I had not seen. The hand of God had planted trees upon that hill. The enemy had planted guns. And in among the waving grain, the seeds of death, machine gun traps and tanks and armored trucks that lay in hiding there. I thought of what the wise men used to say, one picture is worth 1,000 words. And then impulsively I said, oh no, not words, but lives. This picture may be worth 1,000 lives. And then he smiled again, that officer, and said, this picture may be worth a battle and a war and life and freedom for all peoples everywhere. And then at last I understood why men will risk their lives to make these pictures sharp and clear, why they will fly unarmed, only a camera where a gun might be, through clouds of black, through angry, swarming enemy planes, to bring their pictures back. These silent pictures that say so much about the men on whose eternal vigilance and gallantry a battle hinges, and a war. The men in the Air Reconnaissance Group, the men in the Air Force Observation Corps.
Hello, this is Ingrid Bergman. I'd like to read you some of my favorite poetry. First, 3 poems in praise of practically nothing by Samuel Hoppenstein. The day I like the least is Sunday, and after that, I don't like Monday. And after that, I don't care whose day Tuesday is. I don't like Tuesday. And after that, let other men say pooh and bah. I don't like Wednesday. And after that, my very worst day is... in short, I don't like Thursday. And after that, my evil eye day is the facts I don't like Friday. And after that, I won't grow fatter, say, because they have a day called Saturday. But the day I like the least is Sunday. And after that, I don't like Monday. And after that, I don't care whose day Tuesday is. I don't like Tuesday. And after that, I do not like to be alone. My solar plexus turns to stone. And yet I know of nothing worse than living with another person. I hate to be a bachelor, and marriage likewise I abhor. Emphatically I resent the things that people don't invent. Babies haven't any hair. Old men's heads are just as bare. Between the cradle and the grave lies a haircut and a shave. And what are you, that wanting you I should be kept awake as many nights as there are days, with weeping for your sake? And what are you, that missing you, as many days as crawl I should be listening to the wind and looking at the wall? I know a man that's a braver man, and 20 men as kind. And what are you, that you should be the one man in my mind? Yet women's ways are witless ways, as any sage will tell. And what am I, that I should love so wisely and so well? little hands, your little feet, your little mouth. Oh, God, how sweet. Your little nose, your little ears, your eyes that shed such little tears. Your little voice so soft and kind. Your little soul, your little mind. I'm not sure that the earth is round, nor that the sky is really blue. The tale of why the apples fall may or may not be true. I do not know what makes the tides, nor what tomorrow's world may do. But I have certainty enough, for I am sure of you. I was a boy when I heard 3 red words 1,000 Frenchmen died in the streets for: liberty, equality, fraternity. I asked why men die for words. I was older. Men with mustaches, sideburns, lilacs told me the high golden words are mother, home, and heaven. Other older men with face decorations said God, duty, immortality. They sang these 3 slow from deep lungs. Years ticked off their say-so on the great clocks of doom and damnation, soup and nuts Meteors flashed their say-so, and out of great Russia came 3 dusky syllables. Workmen took guns and went out to die for bread, peace, land. And I met a Marine of the USA, a leatherneck with a girl on his knee, for a memory in port circling the earth, and he said, "Tell me how to say 3 things, and I always get by. Give me a plate of ham and eggs. How much? And do you love me, kid?" On tonight's Words with Music, we have heard poems by Samuel Hoffenstein, Edna St. Vincent Millay, Amelia Byrne, and Carl Sandburg. Milton Charles was the organist. And this is Ingrid Bergman saying good night over the stations of the Armed Forces Radio Service.
The audience loves to cry. Anything that's good can go. The clown with his pants falling down, or the dance that's a dream of romance, or the scene where the villain is mean. That's entertainment.
Stage Struck, the full hour devoted to the transcribing of the magic world and people of the stage. Come with us as we view the new season of 1954 in the theater. You'll hear Ingrid Bergman, Ralph Bellamy, Judith Anderson, Renee Jean Mayer, Martha Wright, and Bill Tabbert. You'll hear Celeste Holm and Robert Preston in a scene from their new play, His and Hers, and Judith Anderson in a scene from the new In the Summer House, along with Alfred Drake and Doretta Morrow in songs from their newest hit, Kismet. It's all about theater, the people who make it, the people who love it, the people who live it.
The world is the stage. The stage is a world of entertainment.
Now here's a man who really knows his way around Broadway, as Stage Struck as they come, your host, Mike Wallace.
In Italy, the big news is the return of Ingrid Bergman to the stage in the Paul Claudel, Arthur Honegger version of the opera Joan of Arc. Ingrid Bergman, under the direction of her husband, Roberto Rossellini. We called Italy by transatlantic closed-circuit telephone to talk to Miss Bergman more about it. And she'll also be seen beginning tomorrow in this country for the first time in 4 years as star of the new film, The Greatest Love. Now, though, to Italy and Miss Ingrid Bergman.
Miss Bergman, this is Mike Wallace in New York. After you're several years away from the stage, how does it feel to be back in front of a live audience?
Well, I must say that I was a little nervous, of course, opening night, but less nervous than I expected. I think it's just the happiness that makes you forget that there is a live audience. And I felt at home.
What led to your decision to appear in the Claudel Honegger version of Joan?
Well, I really had thought of doing something in the theater, a play.
Yeah.
But I waited first a couple of years to learn the language well, and then I didn't find a play that I wanted.
You do it exclusively in Italian?
And what?
Completely in Italian?
Yes, I do it in Italian. And then the opera, my husband was down in Naples directing Othello last year, and I was with him, and then the direction said, why don't you do something? So, of course, I was very willing if there wasn't to be singing. And luckily enough, this Joan of Arc on the stage has no singing except a few bars. So I was delighted, and I did that instead of a play.
Now, this is not really your first singing role, is it?
Well, in the opera, certainly, but I did sing in a couple of pictures, but I don't think anybody knew I was singing, or maybe they thought it was dubbed.
Can we prevail upon you to sing something of what you do sing in the opera?
No, I'm afraid not. I would be too embarrassed. I need an orchestra, you see. I need a lot of instruments to cover me up.
I see. Your husband said after the performance, why did I ever make motion pictures?
Yes.
This is what I want to do. Is that a fact?
And I think that now he's stage-struck as a 17-year-old, you know. He's found that theater maybe is much more exciting because it gives you this immediate reaction from an audience and a certain satisfaction that you can never get out of a film.
Does he have any definite plans yet?
No, right now not, because we are going to take the opera around to a few places. First we go to the Scala, and then to Paris, and I'll do it in French. And then next season I'll go to Stockholm, to my country, and do it in Swedish.
Oh, wonderful.
And then we have been invited to go to South America, which we might take because I would love to go and see South America.
How does this version of Joan differ from the other two versions that you've played?
Well, this is a complete fantasy. It's poetic. It is an opera fantasy. So it is not her true life. She's already dead, really, when this opens, and this is flashback in her last seconds, in the agony before she reaches paradise.
You have no plans to bring this current production next year to the United States, do you?
Well, nobody has asked us, really.
Miss Bergman.
Yes?
Do you find that it's advantageous, or is it a handicap to be directed by your husband?
Well, it has two sides to it, like everything else. It's good in some ways and maybe bad in others.
Does this work spill over into your home life?
Yes, certainly, because we're both interested in this is our life at home with the children and our life in the film. And really, we don't come home and close the door and don't ever talk about what we did during the whole day, you know?
Of course.
So, if we fight even at home.
Where is your husband now? What is he doing now?
He's in Naples now, because we thought that maybe we'd put the opera on film. And he's doing some tests about it.
Mrs. Rossellini, thank you very much.
The Screen Guild Players present Notorious, starring Ingrid Bergman and John Hodiak. It is the judgment of this court that the defendant, John Huberman, having been found guilty of treason against the United States, shall be remitted to prison for a period of 20 years. And it is the further judgment of this court.
I wasn't watching the judge when he passed out sentence. I wasn't watching Huberman either. I was watching his daughter. Beautiful, I thought to myself, plenty beautiful. It's not going to be too hard on the eyes to see a lot of little Alicia. And I knew I was going to see a lot of her. I had to. That was my job.
This is a party, not a wake. Come on, everybody, drink up.
Alicia, if we get any louder, we'll raise the police.
Oh, what's the difference? They're after me anyway.
They are?
Oh, sure. Papa's a traitor and his little girl has fleas. Come on, Mr. Hopkins, another drink.
Oh, no, thanks.
Come on.
Those ice cubes are getting me drunk.
Sissy, how about you, handsome?
Thanks.
Now we're cooking with champagne. Say, haven't I seen you somewhere before?
I don't think so.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I like party crashers.
He didn't crash the party. I brought him, Alicia.
Oh, just sensitive. I'm a marked woman, you know. I'm apt to blow up the Panama Canal any minute.
Oh, Alicia, Mr. Hopkins is passed out.
Oh, already?
I believe he's allergic to ice cubes.
Oh, you really think so?
I'm an expert.
You know something? I like you.
You know something? We ought to drink to that.
You know something? We will. Tell me, how did you know I wanted you to stay?
I figured you wouldn't want to be alone with Mr. Hopkins. That's the third time you've played the same record. Why do you like it?
Oh, because it's a lot of hooey. Nothing like a love song to give you a laugh.
That's right.
This one is my favorite joke. Someday I'll find you. Your otter.
Sort of a hunting song.
How about we have a picnic?
Outside?
Too stuffy in here for a picnic.
Want to swim?
No. Want to finish this?
Shame to leave it, thanks.
My car's outside.
Naturally.
Want to go for a ride?
Why not?
I'm going to drive. That's understood.
Better take your coat. It's chilly.
You'll do. Come on. How am I doing?
Not bad. A little over 55.
Is it foggy or am I imagining things?
You're falling asleep.
Thanks. I'm going to step on it when we reach the straight road. Want to see me?
Go ahead.
Scared?
Nope.
You're not scared of anything, are you?
Not too much.
What's the speedometer say now?
65.
Oh, I'm going to make it 80 and wipe that grin off your face. I don't like gentlemen who grin at me. What's that?
Cops.
What?
A policeman's chasing us.
Oh, they make me sick.
You'd better stop. He wants to talk to us.
Drunken driving. My second offense. Now I go to jail. The whole family in jail. Who cares?
Having quite a time for yourself, aren't you?
People like you ought to be in bed.
Drunk, huh?
Just a minute, officer.
No arguments, mister. You ain't got a leg to... Oh, sorry. You should have shown that first.
That's all right.
Sure you can handle her?
No trouble.
Right. I'm sorry, sir.
What? Where's the ticket? He didn't give me a ticket, did he? No. What's your name?
Dev, for sure.
You showed that cop something, didn't you? And he saluted you.
Did he?
I saw him.
Let's go.
No. Why, you double-crossing buzzard? You're a cop.
We'll argue later.
Crashing my party, a federal cop, tailing me to get something on me and me falling for you. Get out of my car,
wait
you
a minute.
skunk! Get
Hold
out
it.
of my car! Get out!
Slow
Get
down,
out!
beautiful.
Get out!
That's better.
Oh.
Now, baby, if you'll raise your chin up
Yeah,
just a little.
If you think you're going to kiss me,
Who said anything about kissing?
Oh.
Sorry, beautiful. I had to do it. It's important that we both get back alive. It's about time you were waking up. How do you feel? Don't worry, you'll live. You always do.
Well, it's always so lit. What do you care how I feel?
Got a little job for
Oh, don't tell me. There's only one job you coppers would want for me. You can forget it. I'm no stool pigeon.
My chief thinks you'd be perfect for the job. It's in Rio.
Oh, I tell you, I'm not interested.
A lot of those Nazis are beached in Brazil, the boys your father played around with. They'd take you at face value. No pun. They'd trust you. You could make up a little for your daddy's peculiarities. That is, if you felt in the mood.
Why should I?
Patriotism.
Patriotism. Don't make me laugh.
I hadn't expected to.
Waving the flag with one hand and picking pockets with the other. That's your patriotism. You can... What have you got there?
A recording. The label says conversation between John Huberman and his daughter Alicia, January 9, 1946.
What?
You see, we've had this bungalow wired for months. Listen.
No, I don't want to hear it.
I do.
There is for us, both of us, A mint of money in it, Alicia.
I told you last month I wouldn't do it.
Why not? This is not your country,
My
is
mother was born here. We have American citizenship.
Yeah, but in your feelings, you're a Nazi. Oh. Alicia, if you only knew what we stand for.
I know what you stand for, and I've hated you ever since I found out. You lost the war, but you never give up, do you? I hate you, all of you, and I love this country. You understand that?
Alicia,
I love this country. And I'll see you all hanged before I raise a finger against it. Now get out of here. So help me, I'll turn you in. Go on, get out.
End of record, period.
Oh, that doesn't prove much. I didn't turn him in.
We didn't expect you to. That's for Nazis to turn in their fathers. How soon can you leave for Rio?
I don't know. How soon do you want?
We took the plane for Rio the following morning. She didn't talk much at first. She seemed to be thinking. As the days went by and we waited for our assignment, she grew more relaxed, more like herself, impatient only to get to work. Me, I wasn't complaining. Time was going pleasantly enough, maybe more pleasantly than I realized. Until that afternoon in a little street cafe.
Deb, your glass is crying for another. Better call the waiter.
Not a bad idea. How about you?
No, thanks. I've had enough.
What's the joke?
Me. I'm practically on the wagon. It's quite a change.
It's a phase.
You don't think a woman can change?
Sure. A change is fun for a while.
For a while. Mr. Devlin, what a rat you are.
All right. You've been sober for 8 days, and so far as I know, you haven't met any new boyfriends.
That's something.
8 days.
I'm very happy, Deb. Why can't you let me be happy?
Nobody's stopping you.
Why don't you give that copper's brain of yours a rest? Every time you look at me, I can see it running over its slogans. Once a crook, always a crook. Once a tramp, always a tramp.
Go ahead. Let's play truth or consequence.
And then you pat my hand like you're doing now. Most men would hold my hand there. Why won't you?
Waiter, 1 rum highball, please.
Yes, senor.
You're scared, aren't you? You're afraid you'll fall in love with me? Madly in love?
You having fun kidding me?
No. No, I'm kidding myself, Dev. I'm pretending I'm a very nice, unspoiled child whose heart is full of daisies and buttercups. When you look at me, you see Shirley Temple.
That's a nice daydream. And then what?
Then I wake up. I've changed my mind. I think I'll have another drink. A double.
No. I like it this way.
Thanks for your assist. Dev, why won't you believe in me? Just a little. Why won't you? Oh, I know why, Dev. You're sore at yourself. You're in love with me, and you're sore at yourself. Yes, the invincible Devlin. In love with someone who isn't even worth wasting the words on. That makes you sick all over, doesn't it? Now, poor Dev, to love a no good guy like me. It must be awful. I'm sorry.
Shut up. Let's get out of here. That was the first time I kissed her that afternoon. It was funny. She was like a little high school girl, like a kid who'd never been kissed before, bubbling and gay and full of beautiful plans. And I guess I felt sort of happy, too. And then she insisted on cooking dinner for us. Only first I had to go and see Prescott, my chief. He told me what I'd have to tell her. When I got back, I wasn't feeling happy anymore.
I said to myself, he'll like it this way. Dinner on the balcony, a little world above the world. It isn't too cold out here, is it, Deb? Deb? Oh, darling, what's the matter with you? Troubles? Come on, handsome. I think you'd better tell Mama what's going on.
After dinner.
No. Now.
All right. We've got a job.
Oh, so there is a job. I've begun to wonder.
You remember a man named Sebastian?
Alex Sebastian?
Yes.
Yes, one of my father's friends.
The reports say he had quite a crush on you.
Well, I wasn't very responsive.
He's here, head of a large business concern.
Yes, his family always had money.
They're using it to help a bunch of exiled Nazis here in Rio.
Something big?
It has all the earmarks. We have to contact him.
Go on. Let's have all of it.
You managed to run into him accidentally. If he acts like he's still interested, you go to work on him.
Matahari. She makes love for the secret papers?
There are no papers. You land him. Find out what's going on in his house, what the group around him is up to, and report to me.
I suppose you knew about this pretty little job of mine all the time.
No. Prescott just told me this afternoon.
Did you say anything? Well, I mean about maybe I wasn't the girl for such shenanigans.
I figured that was up to you. If you cared to back out.
You didn't put in a word for me at all? Not a word of... not a word for that little lovesick lady you kissed this afternoon?
I told you we've got a job.
Oh, don't get sore, Dave. I was just fishing for a little bird call from my dream man. One little remark like, Mr. Prescott, how dare you suggest that Alicia Huberman, the new Miss Huberman, be submitted to so ugly a fate?
You're not funny.
Do you want me to take this job?
You're answering for yourself.
I'm asking you.
It's all up to you, honey.
Not Pete. Oh, darling, what you didn't tell Prescott, tell me. Tell me that you believe that I'm nice and that I love you and that I'd never change back, no matter how much they told you about what I used to be.
I'm waiting for your answer.
What a little pal you are. Never believing me. Never one little word of faith. Just down the drain with Alicia. That's where she belongs. Oh, Deb. Well, when did you say I go to work for Uncle Sam?
Tomorrow morning.
Well, I'm a little out of training. Oh, it is cold out here. I think I need a drink.
Act 2 of Notorious, starring John Hodiak and Ingrid Bergman.
I had to hand it to Alicia. She didn't waste any time. The following morning, quite by accident, of course, Sebastian discovered that she was in Rio. And judging from her reports after that, he didn't exactly waste time either. She told me about it at the races near the finish line. She had managed to ditch him for a couple of minutes.
I can't stay long. He'll be looking for me. He's getting to the jealous stage.
Don't look at me when you talk. Pretend you're watching the horses.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Alex took me home for dinner last night. I met his mother and his pals.
Who?
Ever hear of Dr. Anderson?
No.
Scientist of some sort. Gray hair, mustache. Face is scarred. Looks like powder burns.
Check. Who else?
Eric Mathies and William Rossner.
Both big shots. Gestapo. Go on.
Emil Hupka.
No.
He made quite a scene at the dinner table about the wine.
Didn't like the vintage?
No, not that. He was frightened for a moment when Alex started to open the bottle. Seemed to think it was something else, not wine.
Was it?
No, it was wine. We drank it.
Hupka make any other break?
He didn't have much chance. Mathies suggested he might be tired, offered to drive him home, insisted on it. Hupka seemed scared.
You'll find his body one of these days. What else?
Oh, no, nothing very important, just a minor item, but you may want it for the record.
What?
Alex is on the hook. He's already to be landed.
Oh. Pretty fast work.
Yes. That's how I am once I make up my mind. Well, you better... Are you betting on this race?
No.
Now, Alex had a tip on number 10.
And
he says...
you were the new Alicia. You changed. Daisies and buttercups, wasn't it?
You fat...
That's just remembering, that's all.
You could have stopped me with one word, but no, you wouldn't. You threw me at
I threw you at nobody.
Didn't you tell me to go ahead? Didn't you insist?
A man doesn't tell a woman what to do. A woman tells herself. You had me almost believing in your hokey-pokey little miracle that a woman like you could ever change.
Oh, you
That's why I didn't try to stop you. The answer had to come from you.
You fool. I went to you on my knees. If you had once said you loved me, you'd have...
Dry your eyes, baby. It's out of character. And remember, you've got to keep on your toes. It's a tough job we're on.
No, I don't think it'll be so tough. Wait for me in the park. I'll meet you there. When I get back to town.
Back to town? You're going away with him?
He wants me to marry him. I'm going to accept.
About time, don't you think? I was getting pretty tired of this park.
Alex didn't want to come back.
Sorry, I forgot. How's the blushing bride?
Not blushing?
All right, let's get down to business. You're in the house now. You'd better have a look at the wine cellar.
I can't. It's locked. Alex has the key.
Okay, get it from him.
How?
Don't you live near him?
Well, what do I look for if I find the key?
A bottle of wine. Like the one that rattled that guy the first time you had dinner there.
All bottles look alike to me. I'm no mastermind.
You're doing all right.
It's no fun.
I know. You cry yourself to sleep every night. Wait. I've got a better idea. Suppose you talk Sebastian into throwing a big shindig next week.
Why?
Consider me invited. Old friend of yours. I work for Pan American. Get me in, and I'll see about the wine closet myself.
It won't be easy, Dev. He watches.
So have a lot of other guys that never slowed you down. Where is the wine cellar?
Off the side garden.
If you get the key, meet me out there.
What time? When?
Let's say the orchestra's playing a waltz. Someday I'll find you.
Someday I'll find you.
Yes, I always set that one out. Been a pleasure seeing you, madame. Good day. I thought you'd never get out.
Yes.
You sure this is the key?
I took it off his keychain while he was having his shower.
Here we go. All right, now, look around. See any wine like they served that night?
I don't know. I only saw the bottle once. I'm not sure Well, maybe those on the end there. I think...
Here, let's have a look.
Yes.
Chablis, vintage 1940, bottled by... Funny. They haven't laid these on their sides. Better take one off.
Oh, there.
I think we've got the right one.
No wine in it at all. Just sand.
Yes, how about that? Vintage sand. Okay, I'll take enough for a sample and we'll clear the rest away.
Yes.
Shove the broken glass back of this cabinet. Watch your hands. I'll sweep the sand in with my handkerchief.
Deb, I'm terrified.
Just pretend you're a janitor cleaning things up. Janitors are never terrified.
What if Alex comes down to get more wine?
That's unfortunate.
He's always got a gun.
So have I. There, that does it, I think. Let's go. Which way now?
Out that door into the garden. You can get to your car. I'll go back inside.
Be sure and tell Alex good night for me. Nicest party I ever ducked.
Yes, hurry, Joseph. I must get back to my guests.
I'm sorry to disturb you, Herr Sebastian, but the champagne went so fast.
Oh, it's all right, Joseph. Anything to make Madame's party a success. Now, let's get this door unlocked and get your champagne and...
Herr Sebastian, is anything wrong?
Joseph, I'm afraid I can't open the wine cellar. I seem to have misplaced my key.
The park was pretty lonely yesterday. Where were you?
I couldn't get here. I wasn't feeling well.
Hangover, huh? You on the bottle again?
What's that to you?
Nothing, except you don't look so hot. Well, we finally got a lab report on that sand.
What?
It's uranium ore.
Then it's something big.
And how? Say, what did you do with that key the other night?
I put it back on his chain while he was sleeping.
He say anything?
Not a word.
I've been sort of thinking about that. What would he do if he knew the score?
Oh, maybe nothing.
How do you figure that?
He might be frightened of the others finding out. Goodbye, Dad.
What do you mean, goodbye?
Well, nothing, just goodbye. The fresh air isn't as good for a hangover as I thought.
Will I see you tomorrow?
If I'm up to it, you be here, I'll come. If I'm feeling better.
Excuse me, Herr Sebastian. Madame is not coming down for breakfast?
I'm afraid not, Joseph. She's ill again. Another one of those attacks.
I'm sorry, sir.
Well, I don't think it's anything really serious, but I've disconnected the telephone. I don't want to disturb.
Yes, sir. Should I fix her a tray?
Well, some coffee, perhaps. Oh, and Joseph.
Yes, sir.
I think I had better take it up myself.
5 days. I waited for her every afternoon, but she didn't show. And sitting there alone in the park, I began to ask myself some questions. Suppose it wasn't a hangover that day. Suppose she was sick. Suppose they were doing something to her. Until I couldn't take it anymore. So I drove out to the house.
I'm sorry, sir. Mr. Sebastian is busy. He is in the study with some business associates.
I see. Is Mrs. Sebastian in?
Madame is confined to her bed. She has been very ill.
Oh, that's too bad.
We have all been most concerned about her. I will tell Mr. Sebastian you are calling, sir. Will you wait here, please?
Wait here, he says. Brother, what a chance.
it? Who's there?
Alicia. Alicia.
Oh, Deb.
Alicia, what's wrong with you?
Oh, Deb. I'm so glad you've come.
I had to. I got tired of sitting on that bench alone. What is it, Alicia? What's wrong with you?
Alex, he's poisoning me. Slowly, so the others won't suspect.
How long?
Oh, I don't know. I just found out this morning. I saw him drop something in my coffee.
Come on, get up. We've got to get you out of here.
I can't walk. I've been so weak.
You've got to walk. You hear? You've got to.
Deb, I must tell you something about the sand.
Not now.
Yes.
Here. Yes, let this go over your shoulders.
They got careless. They talked. I heard them, Deb.
Come on now. Stand up.
The sand comes from the Amores Mountains. A town called Santa Mars something.
We'll find it. Good work. Now, walk. Try to walk.
I can't make it. You go alone.
What good would that be? What good would I ever be again alone?
Deb.
Why do you think I'm here right now? Because I love you. Do you understand that? I love you.
You love me?
That's putting it mildly. I've gone around howling inside for you.
No. Not just because I'm sick.
No. Long ago, all the time, from the beginning. That's it. Just keep walking like that.
You love me. Oh, Deb, if you'd only said it before.
I'm doing all right now. We're almost to the door. I love you. Keep walking down it.
Oh, Deb, what about Alex? He won't let us get out.
Listen, he's more scared than we are. One word from us and he's in trouble with his pal.
It would be easier for you, alone.
You're never getting rid of me again.
Never tried to. Maybe I'm delirious. Oh, Deb, hold me tight.
Afterwards, for years, the longest clinch in history. Come on. We made it all right with a lot of luck, and afterwards Mr. Prescott had a lot of things to say. But I wasn't looking at him. I was looking at Alicia. Beautiful, I thought to myself. Plenty beautiful. It won't be too hard on the eyes to keep looking at her all the time. And I'm going to be looking at her all the time. All my life, I guess.
That's your new job.
Screen Guild Players has been a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.